Guys, so I wonder what I should put as the subject here. So my old boss, and I'm not the type of person who defends myself very often. In fact, this is the way I go about school, is I purposely get bad. You know what? I should probably put that. I'm not the type of person to defend myself. I'd trade an A for an F if it means learning 1% more. Okay. But what I'm about to type, guys, will sound like the most harsh thing, and it is sincerely out of like deep-seated anger. It really is. Because I'm always faithful. I'm faithful to tell someone the truth. Even if it must be harsh. Alright? Because when you trust someone in authority, and you're just like this innocent kind of just trusting person who just lets them think whatever they want or whatever, and you get run over and run over and run over, and you realize over and over and over again that there's you're letting, you make the smallest peep, the smallest defense of yourself, and they run on it, but then you're actually correct. Okay, so when I first joined the company, everyone acted like they believed that I had good ideas, or that I was in any way intelligent or smart. As soon as I simply mentioned maybe I shouldn't bother, right? I'm not even kidding. This truly happened. As soon as I mentioned maybe I shouldn't bother giving my opinion or something similar like that, because it wasn't exactly that quote, you instantly affirmed that and disregarded anything I had to say. So, that means if the building was on fire, then me reporting that was considered wrong. You get what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying here? I didn't even say anything. So I didn't even say what my opinion had. I didn't even give a context for it. except that it had to do with like basically how things were being ran or whatever. Like some decision, like very vague, very generic, right? And so the building could be on fire and people dying, and it doesn't matter because I'm saying, well, maybe I shouldn't give my opinion. Of course you shouldn't, right? Instantly affirmed, and then disregarded anything I had to say after that. Doesn't make any sense to me at all, okay? This is the truth. I'm not like purposely trying to be a jerk. I'm not purposely trying to be anything. Like I literally was like, you have no idea. Like I was gonna die like homeless in my car, telling my friends like, I want to do formal verification. I want to do formal verification before I found out about this company. Right? So when I worked there, it was like a dream come true. Like I almost idolized this professor. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, I cared so much about it. Of course I wanted to do my best. What happened was so backwards that I have nothing left. There's no grace. It doesn't even I can't say anything. I can't say the truth with any sort of grace. There's no, there's just logical statements that are so extreme that just them alone it will be harsh. Alright? This is so wrong. This is so corrupt. I'm not defending myself. I was standing up for the best of the company and trying to help you and everyone else ultimately make a big difference and a lot of money. Right? Okay. Okay. So I'm not arguing for my own pay. I'm not arguing for my own status. I'm not arguing anything for myself. I'm saying like I offered the best the best I could. And it wasn't like this this is I can back it up mathematically. Alright? Now whether he looks into that or not, that's his decision. Right? So I had ideas which I can back up mathematically, which completely override everything your research has been doing. Right? Yet you did not even attempt once to verify them. Again, I'm not defending myself. I'm pointing out how by not listening to me, you were simply hurting yourself. If someone is correct and you do not listen to them, your offense to them is one thing, but I'm simply pointing out how that doesn't even matter. In the process of accusing me of not, I guess, doing good enough, right? You believed that you were pushing me to do better for you and maybe me and the company. However, what you thought you observed and what I was actually doing must have been two completely different things. Alright? See, because, like, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because like, literally, I'm not even kidding, like, all my actions, like, everything that I was doing, right? Like, I was actually completing everything that I was supposed to be doing at this company. It's been over 6 months since I've worked here, but it's like bothered me because, like, I could not understand at all, like, the communication that went on between me and, like, the other people at the company. It did not make any sense to me whatsoever. Right? It did not make any sense whatsoever. Okay. Nothing, no communication from you or Darko made any sense whatsoever. Okay, right? So, okay. Right? So my interest had nothing to do with testing. Yet, I did a good job testing. Yet, you didn't even believe that because, one, you didn't even realize that your own software didn't work already due to okay. And number two, I asked trivial questions about scripting all the time, which does not imply that my scripts were trivial. You only assume that it does. My scripts used hashing and containerization and had strict requirements based on what they were testing and what and what libraries I had access to, right? I did a great job with that. Was always on top of what was being corrected, right? So I always stayed on top of that. On top of that, right? On top of that, you guys have like no idea how like backwards this is. Like how upside down this is. Like I can't even like express in words how like it didn't even make any sense. Like I could not even compute what I was told at the end of this internship that I had at this company. It didn't even make sense in my brain. All right? On top of that, I used my online reputation on Stack Overflow to ask exactly what you were asking for C programs, which, if we found bugs in, would result in some fame, right? And people blew up at me for asking that, but it actually, what they didn't understand is that formal verification is a thing. This is something that this professor understands, is that you can't, the tool we were using, it finds bugs that most people don't find. And it is not that weird of a question to ask, because there are some basically known Common Core OS C libraries and Linux libraries, and people on Stack Overflow basically like rejected my question, saying like, oh, it's out of topic, and saying that I was just trying to be famous. But that's literally like what, you know, the CEO here at this company was saying to ask, right? Okay. So here's the thing, like he's confused, because he doesn't even understand. Like he doesn't even understand, right? Like I don't even care if he believes in me. Like the fact is, like he, even if he does, he like listened to everyone else who was saying like, oh, I don't know if Tim knows what he's doing or whatever, just based on my stupid questions that I was asking. Like, it doesn't matter. I didn't know Bash that well. Who cares? I understood algorithms and mathematics and the design of the scripts that I was making, and they actually worked really well at doing some stuff. Like, they literally used hashing to check to see if I had tried to, you know, downloaded or built a program, right? Alright, so I would have fine conversations with Darko. Then suddenly, when presenting to you both after doing what I know is decent work. He made everything. He only focused on the top of the iceberg. The things at the GUI level and the things I worked on within that same 24 hours. Right? You judged me only on these extremely surface items and spent no time actually doing real investigation into my work. I have no patience or care to your opinion about my work. At this point. This is coming from someone who usually doesn't want to have any, who usually doesn't judge his own work. I don't usually judge my own work. I usually don't say, I usually am very sensitive to outside input, but now I know to block off any of that from you completely. Right? So basically what I'm saying is I've changed my mind completely to, like, not listen to, you know, what this guy believes about me. Like, he could say anything that he believes about me, and I'm basically going to tell him, no, you're wrong. Right? Just remember, you're the one who said that you wouldn't be friends with someone who won't admit that they were wrong. Yet, the first times I emailed you, I challenged your statements on ASTs, right? And you still have yet to reply. Note, your your reply in this context is not for my benefit. It's for yours and the company's and everyone's. Right? Which, I should say, your reply to that, which never existed in the context, was not, I should say was, because it's kind of like a past thing, was not for my benefit. It was for yours and the company's and everyone's, basically. Right? since my idea was broader than the K-framework's entire idea of the K-framework. Don't get me wrong. I in no way wish to obsolete someone's entire life's work just to, frustrate them. No, I'm not purposely negative or purposely against your research. I sincerely believe that my ideas factually on the basis of truth alone, I should just say raw truth alone, happen to nullify much of your work, at least eventually. Right? Sure, formal verification of compiled languages may be useful temporarily, but not in the long run, I believe. Right? Is what I'm saying, I should say. Okay, so he'll have no idea. Okay, I did my best to communicate. I may have hinted that I was, but I take that back. Okay, I may have considered that I was poor at communicating, but I no longer think so. I think that I am just fine at communicating, and that my ideas and thoughts are simply simply deal with abstract concepts, plain and simple. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is that if what I'm thinking of is as complicated as a cryptocurrency, and they say that learning how a cryptocurrency works is like, drinking out of a fire hose, okay, which I don't think they're like that complicated. Is like, drinking out of maybe the first time you learn about it, but like so if my idea is as complex or hard to explain as a cryptocurrency, then fine. That's the idea, though. That's not my problem in communicating. It's not like my lack of ability to communicate. In fact, if anything, it's someone if it's someone who can't sit there and communicate with me, talk with me. This guy's never sat down and just talked with me like one-on-one, except like the first time that I went and talked with him. Right? Like, I'm not purposely negative or purposely angry. I'm just like, but that's all. Like, I'm not left with an option. I'm not left with any option whatsoever. Okay? So don't complain, right? So it's not my choice or my fault if my idea happens to be as complex as a cryptocurrency. Don't blame me. All right. And then also, don't complain about this email being too long. It really isn't. You want long? Read a book. They've been around for generations. Alright? So people write articles, they write books. You know, an email is not going to be too long. He's complained about me writing things that were too long, and I'm just saying, you know what? No, that's crap. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take it anymore. All right? Okay? So like, I don't care. Like, none of this is in defense of me. It's literally in, like, defense of, like, you know, you can choose to do things your way because I'm not in control of you. But what I'm telling you is I sincerely believe that you should do things this other way for your own good. Not just because, I'm not just saying, like, oh, you treated me unfairly. You know. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying you're not, like, by thinking that you're, like, you're oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like, I kid you not. Darko would message me demanding that I generate value. I shouldn't put quotes around it because he didn't actually use the term generate value. But he basically demanded that I generate value in with what was it? RV Predict. And my response was that I only had 40 hours per week to work, and that I was definitely doing something with that time. I wasn't wasting any of that time. So arithmetically, right? Am I even spelling this right? So arithmetically, it doesn't matter. Arithmetically, it doesn't matter if I did work on that project or not. It doesn't. Right? Okay. It doesn't matter if I did work on that project or not. It really doesn't. I was doing work on something. You know, RV match or whatever. So I wasn't wasting my time. But he implied that I had to somehow prove my value anyway. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Right? And then on top of that, let's see, what else? In fact, he said that I overreacted. Right? And in another conversation where I was attempting to explain, okay, and in another conversation where I was attempting to explain the restrictions of my work or my project, having about 7 what do you call it when something combined, like 7 restrictions which have a compounding effect. Right? So he said that I had overreacted in another conversation where I was attempting to explain the restrictions of my project, having 7 restrictions which have compounding effect. He said that he didn't know what I was talking about. Then promptly after said that he didn't think I was a good, software engineer. Okay, which is fine. I don't, I'm not going to claim to be a good at coding in C or Bash, and I honestly, I care more about design. I'm a design person. So if I don't know the programming language like on the top of my head that well, and I have like a jacked memory because I was exposed to mercury when I was in the army, that that's a good point, I guess. But it's not going to like stop me from being the creative person that I am and coming up with really great ideas that make a lot of sense. Or believing in my ideas and things like that. So, okay. On top of that, you looked at my transcripts, which is not the same as a CV, right? Okay. By the way, they're not the same thing. Okay? On top of that, you looked at my transcripts and somehow based my ability to judge the foundations of mathematics on that. That doesn't make sense. I am good at math in a particular type of way. I am good at math, I'll say, in a specific way. And especially in that, considering that, and the way I approach academics and the life events that I've encountered
I don't think that my transcripts could communicate to many people much good information about that, right? Even so, based simply on what I decided to study, you should have been aware of my interests, right? At least aware of my interests, right? Okay, math is a broad. Okay, Brandon is good at math. No one else in the company convinced me that they were good at math. Alright, so Brandon's the only person in the company that I am convinced is actually good at math, is basically what I'm saying. Okay, I even had a conversation about compression in Slack publicly in a more public channel with I'll just say with the match engineer. I don't got to put people's names, but I actually just don't, for whatever reason, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, which I don't get why, because I don't have any, like, I like the guy. He's cool. I like him, but I just happen to have had this conversation with him, where I showed mathematically, right? I showed mathematically that a type of compression algorithm couldn't exist. But his argument was not formal. It was only relating analogously to physics. Okay, I think that shows some competence. In high-level reasoning, right? Also, I had a proper functional design interface for David, but he wanted some sort of interface layer on that. Problem is, the interface had to be code itself. Therefore, he was confused, thinking me to be lazy, right? But actually, the null interface was optimal. Was in fact optimal. So, again, I was correct. Alright? So basically what I'm doing is I'm doing something it's not I have to remind you that it is not common for me to argue that I'm right about, about something. I should say naturally. Because I don't try to confront. I usually try to avoid confrontation. Okay, I usually avoid confrontation, yet I still have to explain all this here. So that should be an indication of how extreme this was. Okay, so explain the logic of this. Right? Okay, explain the logic of this. On my resume, on my goals could be summed as goals to convince formal verification engineers of a new abstract method of representing ASTs, right? Okay. Then the COO, then my testing engineer internship ends at the only company with people who understand the topic, right? Then the CEO comes up to me and offers this is what I don't get. This is what I don't get. Okay, hold on. My testing engineer internship ends at the only company with people who understand the topic. The position taken in order to introduce these ideas later in that company, right? With a different position. Then the CEO comes up to me and offers to recommend me to any company that I would want to work at. Okay, so how does that make sense? So what am I supposed to do? Go up to another company tell them my goal is to convince the company which I just left to implement this design. They can recommend me. Will you hire me? Obviously, that doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't make any sense. And you guys have no idea, because I've been driving these semi-trucks to earn money to pay back my credit cards and student loans. My credit cards, by the way, which I used to that summer to in 2014 in order to create my app called Inspiration Basic, which isn't even on the Apple Store anymore, on the App Store, because it costs $100 a year to keep an app on the App Store. Right? And I got this job, like, one of the things I did was show them that I made that app. Does this make, like, you guys get, like, this isn't even the only, like, thing that I feel is, like, an injustice that I'm dealing with, like, internally. It's not just this. There's some other things that I've experienced. Plenty of things. And I'm not, like, the type of person, like, I want to work my butt off, and dude, I will, like, walk through fire. I care so much about, like, ever since I was young, I would try to strive to do my best. Like, I would get all A pluses if I could. When I was in high school, I'd get, like, almost a 4.0 GPA. And that was, like, a decent high school. Now, my junior year, my grades dropped to, like, 2 point something, because I was devastated with the relationship that I was in. So then my GPA in high school only averaged out to, like, it would have been, like, 3.8 something or whatever, but it was, like, more like 3.6 something. And then same thing kind of happened when I was in college the first time, and then I was in the military. So, but, like, when I went back to school here, like, it was a positive experience at first. Like, I don't want to send this email to one person and then, like, not get a response that I desire, or get a response that just, you know, increases the negativity. Like, that's not what I want. I want to not even care what his response is, and just know that I put all this in an email. So I could explain all of it, and regardless of whether he cares or not, at least I said it. And on top of that, I document it, like, I'm sharing it with the people who, follow me, who watch my videos, who pay attention to me and actually care, subscribers, whatever. Friends, family, like, that's a relief to me. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, like, if any of you were subscribed to me when I made my first calculator programming videos. I had, like, almost no subscribers then. But when I made those videos and released them, it was like a weight off my chest. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, this is, like, this right here is like this weight that's been on my chest growing for, like, a year now. Because it was, I was starting to get frustrated halfway through my internship. And it's fine. Like, I don't, like, as far as humans go, as far as just plain humans, like, just humans, I don't, like, hate these people. Like, I love personalities. I love these people's personalities and all this stuff. But as far as like intellectual facts and like the results of like people's actions and thoughts and like miscommunications, misunderstandings, and like not like that got me all the way to my core. I hated that. Absolutely 100% hated, absolutely disturbed me to the core. So, and like, you guys watching this and listening to this, you know, you might not understand half the stuff that I'm talking about, half the stuff that I'm trying to get off my chest. You might not understand half the stuff I'm trying to explain here. But, you know, at least you can sense the tension. At least you can sense, you know, the feeling I have of injustice, and that, you know, that helps too. Because this is something that surrounds my life a lot. Like, and it's okay. I mean, as long as I can grow from, like, as long as it doesn't completely defeat me, you know, because I love stories like Elon Musk, like, just proving everyone wrong when they were like, man, you were such a fool to, like, invest in that, you know, space company or the Tesla or whatever. And then he just, like, that thing grows like a mustard tree. You know what I mean? Like stick it to him. And before I knew any of that about Elon Musk, I saw his tweets and I didn't even really know who he was, and I actually still disagree with some of the first things that I've seen him say. But other than that, you know, I find out that he's for the most part, he's pretty much a genius. And so I'm not going to get into that. I don't care, like, to get into that in this video. I'm just saying, like, I'm glad that someone like that just, you know, stuck it to everyone who didn't believe in him when he said, dude, we need to make some rockets that can re-land themselves. We need to make some cars that just are properly engineered enough to where they run off batteries. We need to make this and that and this and that. And it made sense, and people probably just didn't listen, didn't believe it or something. You know? So, I don't know. It's like, this is just something that festered and, like, got me so mad, but I just didn't know how to deal with it. And I almost am just like, I don't want to cause negativity. Like, I don't want him to think that I wasn't, like, thankful or something for, like, being able, having, like, an opportunity to work there. Like, I literally, like, you have to, okay. You have to believe me when I put best at the end here. It's true. Okay? You have to believe me when I put best at the end. Okay? Save, maybe, like, I want to keep my idea for myself now a little bit. But perhaps I feel like owning my idea, especially given that no one has shown any support for it. Right? So even this, I'm like giving him, like, maybe, you know, maybe I could just, like, you know, maybe Jesus could have just only told the Pharisees, you know, actually given the Pharisees the best and only told the Pharisees all his secrets and none of the common folk. But he didn't do that. He was like, you know what, screw you guys. You rejected me, so I'm going to go tell these common folk. Like, oh man, I don't know how to, like, express what I'm thinking, what I feel. Like, I wish I could, like, communicate with all this. But it's like, it feels so hard to do that. So, anyway, this is just one of, like, a couple things. This company is one thing. There's a whole nother realm, a whole nother situation with a totally different thing. Nothing to do with computers. Nothing to do. It's a totally different situation I was in. But it was a similar thing with authority and misunderstandings and all that. And, oh, man. So he might not even care. He might just realize, like, even if he just realizes that I'm kind of mad about something, and he doesn't even, like, comprehend, like, I don't know what his reaction is going to be. But even if he just realizes that, yeah, I'm kind of ticked off about something, like, that kind of, you know, makes me happy a little bit. Just, you know, because, like, I want to believe that everyone was doing their best. That's what I want to believe. But misunderstandings are a B word. And they get you deep sometimes, especially when it comes to, like, stuff that looks trivial but it's not, or whatever. Or you know, and they people keep secrets and stuff like that. I don't believe in, like, talking behind someone's back, like even when he said publicly, like, oh, we're going to talk about whether we should do this or that, you know, like, I didn't even like that, because it's just like, well, what are you guys talking about? I want to verify to make sure that there's no misunderstandings going, like, because they always happen around me, and I'm not purposely attracting them, but I do purposely try to engage with difficult topics because a lot of them are valuable, and some people might want to just protect themselves and just care about profit. But the sad thing is that profit can still be gained. Even more, the guys who founded Google were mathematicians, and yet Google was extremely profitable. So you can make profit from math, and I was in Darker said not that you can't necessarily do that. But it's like, dude, if I make something that undermines everything that they're researching, not like goes against it, like, you know, as like attacking an enemy, but like is better than it, like it completely not undermines, but like it's so much better that it, like, it nullifies it, then then why not? You know, if you're going to put your life's work into that, so, you know, whether he understands this or not, I almost don't care. But yeah. Anyway, that's that's that is my rant. So that's my rant. See you guys in my next video.